Good afternoon, good afternoon. This is Tim, the Berlin Trader, and we're going to go over our favorite crypto charts today, starting with Bitcoin. 60-minute chart on Coinbase against the US dollar. We are, what can I say? We're going higher. We called it back at around 4,400, and we shot up in a couple of hours. We consolidated around that 4,600, and a few hours ago we broke that 4,650, and now we're comfortably cruising at an altitude of 4,700. The target of this move is going to be something around 4,900. If we take the depth of that consolidation pattern, and yeah, 4,800 would be the 200% Fibonacci level, basically the double the length of that flagpole, double the length of the breakout until the consolidation began. That's how we measure the 200% level. And after that, up around 4,900, which is the 261.8 retracement Fibonacci level. So we're getting pretty close to 5,000. I wouldn't doubt at all if we made it to 5,000, but as usual with cryptocurrencies, there seems to be a pullback before we reach that big target. So kind of knocks a lot of people off their feet. So I would take profits around 4,800, 4,900, leave a little for a lottery play if it keeps going. Could break through 5,000 for all we know, but I'm pretty sure we'll see some profit taking around 5,000, along with a lot of news about Bitcoin hitting 5,000. You know that's going to be all over television, so I'm sure we'll see some more money coming in. So Bitcoin is on the way up. There's no doubt about it. Do not see any signs of weakness, to be honest. Cool. So moving on to the other big players. Let's check out Ethereum against the dollar. Same situation as yesterday. You know, we're coming up against those all-time highs. We've been hovering around 390 for a while. I've already taken profits in this. As you all know, I was in that for a few weeks, since around 200, and we saw it fall down from those all-time highs back in June. Boom, 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 boom. Quite a violent descent. And a bit of an orderly ascent right back up, just like a big V, to around 390, 400. We've kind of hovered around there for a while. I've already taken profits because I'm not just going to sit in this for 14 more points after making 200 points. So I don't really think it's a good entry. We might break through 400, and if we do that, we're just going to take off for the next round. But right now, it's more likely that we'll see a little pullback than breaking out. So Ethereum hitting those all-time highs, and if we check it out relative to Bitcoin, now some people are asking me, why would we trade relative to Bitcoin? Because no one uses it. We should just trade against the dollar. But you see, the point is that Bitcoin is a reference. Bitcoin gives us the strength of the cryptocurrencies against another cryptocurrency. So Ethereum might also be going up against the dollar, right? We saw that. Bitcoin is also going up against the dollar, and Ethereum is going up against the dollar. But which one is stronger? I mean, we could buy some Ethereum and we could buy some Bitcoin, but I don't want to buy both of those. Why don't I just buy the strongest one? So we can do that by looking at the comparison between Ethereum and Bitcoin. So here is Ethereum against Bitcoin, and we see that there was a point where Ethereum was really going up against Bitcoin. So that would have been a good time to get into Bitcoin. And then we saw Ethereum fall against Bitcoin. So that means it was better to be in Bitcoin than Ethereum. And right now, we're kind of bouncing up against this red line. That's a support line that goes all the way back to the lows of March, April, May. So this is a pretty strong support trend line. And if we hold this level, then we might see another bounce back up like we did in June. We might see some strength against Bitcoin. So we can imagine that right now we're in Bitcoin, but when Bitcoin starts to fade, right, when Bitcoin reaches 5,000, for example, and people take profits, might be a good time to put our money in Ethereum, because the money will flow from Bitcoin to Ethereum. So this is where we can kind of read the flow like a river. Which way is the water moving? Where's the money flowing? And right now, Ethereum is gaining some strength. Not much, but it is gaining strength on Bitcoin. So we want to keep an eye on that. We want to keep an eye on Ethereum if it strengthens against Bitcoin. Okay, so let's check out Litecoin, the next big player, against the dollar. Now Litecoin has made a great move today. I missed it, to be honest. I was out, I was eating lunch. I had some nice sweet potato soup here in Reykjavik at a great place. I forget the name, but I'm loving Reykjavik right now, like a little small town on top of the world, away from everyone else. It's great. And in Litecoin, we have this trend line connecting the highs of the prices, and we have a trend line connecting the lows of the prices, and price has just bounced back and forth in between that trend line. So it's been a pretty easy play, just playing that range. Buy it on the bottom, sell it at the top, and you can see that we've been heading up in the last couple days. It's been a pretty good winner, and it's a great example of strength against Bitcoin. If we look at Litecoin against Bitcoin, then we see that Litecoin is going up right now against Bitcoin. So it was a pretty strong play, stronger than the dollar and stronger than Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is pretty strong right now. So if you're stronger than something that's strong, well, that's fucking ultra strong, right? That's ultra strong altcoin. So Litecoin was a good move, but again, that move is kind of over. We're hitting that resistance level, so probably not a good place to enter, but a good place to take profits or watch and see what happens next. Let's go to Bitcoin Cash. It's usually number 4 or 5 in volume on coinmarketcap.com. And again, on the daily chart, we don't have so many days. We fell down, we shot up, now we've been going sideways for a couple weeks. It's not really a good chart. You can't really read much into it. So I always drill down to the 60-minute to get a better look at the price patterns. And, you know, we've just been watching it go sideways. I'm surprised it hasn't made a break. It's tried to break out a few times. It's tried to break down a couple times. And now we're just right back in the thick of it. We're just right back in the jungle, chopping away at the brush with our machetes, not really making any headway. I'm sure eventually we're going to see a break. The question is which way. And right now it's up in the air. It could break out to the upside, could break down to the downside. Probably depends on the news, how things go in the coming weeks and months with SegWit and if Bitcoin Cash is adopted. But you know, I listen to the news and I watch the news. It gives me a narrative. It helps me with the story to understand why the technicals are moving the way they are. But technicals really speak for themselves. They move before the news. So if you see strength in a technical pattern, the news is probably coming, right? Then it kind of, people in the know are buying before people know. So that's why it shows up in the technical patterns before it shows up in the news. But the news does help us kind of understand why things are happening after the fact most of the time. So yeah, Bitcoin Cash kind of just sitting around, not doing much. We're just waiting for a move either way, up or down. Other coins I'm looking at right now, Monero. Now Monero's pretty interesting. It's pretty wild of a coin, to be honest. It's not the calmest coin. If we check out, you know, this action here, I mean, it's just all over the place, up and down. I mean, there are some levels, you know, you have a support level here, you have a trend line here, but, you know, it's quite messy. And I don't like, to be honest, I don't like messy patterns. I like it clean, I like my levels clear, because then I can make a good target, I can have a very tight stop, and that helps me make money and not lose pennies all over the place. It's like a hole in your pocket. If you have a loose stock, it's like coins are just falling out of your pocket. But it is showing strength against Bitcoin. That's what I wanted to show here. You know, we have it moving up, and this is Monero against Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is acting really strong. So Monero is acting even stronger, kind of like Litecoin, right? It's acting strong against Bitcoin, and that's a really good sign. So I think, again, when we see profit taking in Bitcoin, we're going to see these strong coins like Litecoin or Monero or Ripple, as you'll see in a second. I think they're going to take off even more when money comes out of Bitcoin. But yeah, Monero is holding its own. I have a small position in there because just it's strong, so why not put good money where strength is. If we check out, not that chart, but if we check out Ripple against Bitcoin, we see a similar story. You know, Ripple against Bitcoin is showing some strength, but it is within this consolidation pattern here. So if we connect the tops of the prices and the bottoms of the prices, we get a nice triangle pattern. We've gone up, we've gone down, up, down, and eventually we got to break out to the upside or to the downside. And if it's strong, then my bias is to the upside. So again, I have a small position in here because it's strong against Bitcoin. If we look at Ripple against the dollar, it should be even stronger, and that's what we see. I even made a note today about this pattern here, this nice upward triangle, and it looked strong, right? The moving averages were coming up and it pressured, gave it some nice pressure, like a hose, you know, you're giving it pressure and eventually it just explodes, right? And it popped to the upside. So in the dollar, we see we have a breakout, but against Bitcoin, right, if we go back against Bitcoin, we still don't have a breakout. Yeah? But since we broke out on the dollar, I expect a breakout as well in against Bitcoin. So remember, looking at your coins against the dollar gives it, you know, an overall picture in the market, but looking at looking at your coins against Bitcoin lets you gauge the strength within the crypto market, not only the fiat market. Other coins at the moment, nothing really interesting. You know, at the moment, I think all the money is really going into Bitcoin. If we go back there, I think people are just pumping their money into Bitcoin, and we're heading up to that 5,000 level. So that's the most interesting thing at the moment. And I'm keeping my eyes on the other coins and seeing how they relate to Bitcoin, seeing if they're strong against the leader. So find your leader and relate your other coins to the leader, because if they're strong against the leader, then they're going to be strong against the dollar. Okay. So cool, that's the chart update for August 31st. And check out my videos on CryptoKing.org. They're featuring me now on their sidebar here. They got a lot of great news, a lot of great articles, and I'm really enjoying the guys at Crypto King. So thanks a lot for their support. And check me out on Twitter at Berlin Trader. You can find my TradingView posts as well as my latest videos on there. And guys, send me a tip if you like my work. I got some links down below the video. You can send me Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum. I really appreciate it. It helps me do my work. You know, just a couple bucks really helps. And leave a comment, send me a message, ask me questions. I love educating, I love teaching, because the more people that get involved, the more money I can make, the more money you can make. So yeah, let's ride this baby to the moon. See you tomorrow. Peace.